the number one. Just repeat after me. My child's performance is not my report. Your job is not to be the best or the perfect or to get an A star all the time.
Kids are not opening up much to the parents. I think what is the real problem? Why do you think parents always look for that perfection, even in tiny? So where are we millennial parents going wrong?
I am the goofiest mom you have ever met. I have sent the wrong child to the wrong birthday party. I have sent my child without a project. My kids have worn night dresses to birthday parties as well. It's not good.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kids Talk Press now.
I also get a lot of DMs where parents, kids are not opening up much to the parents. They are not speaking up. So what do you think? What is the real problem here?
So, the real problem why children don't speak to their parents, right? So, all of us, right, not just children, all of us want to be loved for who we are and not what we do, right? Because being loved for what you do is very, very scary. What if I can't do this tomorrow? Then what happens, right? But when we're very ambitious for our children, and we're constantly focused on productivity and performance, right? That reduces our presence in the moment. And presence is what actually gives that connection, and that's when you really open up. So our minds are always, as parents in India, we're always like, we have to do we have to achieve this, right? And then your eyes are always on the goal. So the child is somewhere here, and the child is like, hello, I'm here. But your eyes are there, right? So that is the challenge.
Just adding to what she said and articulated very beautifully. I think as parents, the reason we find sometimes, as your kids will grow older, right? Especially at this age where this child is, or at least up until 8, you are the epicenter. So you don't vie for that attention. You don't need that attention. You're not struggling for that attention. But when you reach post 8, where your child is not actually, you're not going to be the epicenter. Like, think of it. If you say, why do they say terrible twos? Why do they say toddler tantrums? Toddler tantrums happen, and there will be 2 or 3 stages where you will struggle with your kids. So toddler tantrums is when the child is physically gaining independence from the mother. And the tantrums will be the worst with the mother and then the others. Why? Because he's most dependent on the mother or the primary caretaker, whoever that may be. Then it happens at the flux between 8 and 10, where again they are physically independent, like they can go down on their own, or they can play, or they can speak, or they can go for class, or whatever. So you will see a little bit of that. And then as a teenager, when they're developing their own set of opinions and mind spaces, you will again see, and we just assume that it is rebellion. But what often happens at that point in time is that you are still working in an authoritarian space where you are here and the child is here. Now, if that's your equation, you're not looking for connection, you're still looking for authority, right? And that becomes a huge point of conflict, because when you're looking at 2 different spaces, which is of authority, you are expecting for obedience and not connection. Has everybody kind of followed that? Because you just want the person to follow. You are not looking to connect. Because if you are looking to connect, you will come down at that level. If you see, and Vidya, I'm sure you do this at your preschool as well, when children are having a tantrum or a meltdown, we go down to their level. We sit down and we talk to them, because then you are having eye contact. But as your children are growing older, you're always looking down. You're not bending down to make that connection. So I think that is the reason I see, and when I work with a lot of parents especially in the post 8 to 15 sort of space, they feel they're losing connection because now they want to be relevant in their child's life. Like my daughter's 15, and I keep saying, tell me what's happening, your life is more exciting than mine. Because it is. It's just I am not at the epicenter of it. So and what I do is very simply, I make time for it. So I make sure that, I'm around when she is home, or I am around. Like I've said, I'm not going to her with a to-do or a checklist that ye kiya, ye kiya, ye kiya, ye kiya. And then parents often say, oh, but my 15-year-old is always looking in the phone, or she doesn't make eye contact, or she'll. Because you're just a laundry list of to-do things and Instagram is entertaining. Right? Like, everybody wants an escape, right? Like, I don't want a teacher at home and a teacher at school and a teacher everywhere in my life. I'm 15, I can make my own independent decisions, or I'm 12, I can make my own decisions.
So, everyone wants a perfect kid. So, why do you think parents always look for that perfection, even in tiny ones?
So, A, perfection doesn't exist, right? That's the starting point. But to be a perfect parent, you need a perfect child. But perfection in parenting, A, does not exist, and we should not even try for it, because perfection is very frightening. So, you would have seen children learn very easily from other children. You would have seen this in your preschool. Why? Because when a toddler looks at a 4-year-old walking, right? A 2-year-old looks at a 4-year-old walking, they're like, oh, just a little better than me. I think I can do that, right? But when they look at their parent walking, they're like, oh, no way. This I will never be able to do, right? So perfection we should never try even for. And besides, the goal of human existence is happiness, and happiness and perfection can never coexist. The fact that you're striving for perfection means that you know that today is not perfect, right? I'm not good enough today, right? And when we convey that to the child, fix a hair. No, this shirt is not nice. Why did you do this? Why did you say that? The child is like, oh, so many things wrong with me, right? So how can the child ever be happy? So yes, focus on the happiness. Children are perfect by themselves already. And children are perfectly designed, this we must remember, for the future. When we try to make them perfect, we're making them perfect for the past. A time that doesn't exist. They've already come, pre-programmed to fit into the future perfectly. And so that's why, perfection is the wrong, thing to even aspire for in parenting. Is what I would say, yes.
So first of all, I want all the mothers here that you have tied a cape around your neck, which is called the Superwoman cape. I want you all to do this little action that I'm doing and get rid of that pressure. Untie it and then take it out and then we drop it. It is liberating, okay? And I have to tell you, the one sitting on the other side, I am the goofiest mom you have ever met. I have sent the wrong child to the wrong birthday party. I have sent my child without a project. My kids have worn night dresses to birthday parties as well, which was not a pajama party. Because they decided that, kids go through that phase where they want to wear one tights for 7 days in a row, and if it's not, come back from a wash, then you are doomed, right? Or they want to wear night dress to a birthday party, or they want to wear the most annoying clothes, or like a fairy dress to when you're going to somebody's funeral, right? It's literally with that. But to adding to what Dr. Devina said is, when you're looking for perfection, you're looking to improve yourself. But when does a perfection become unhappy? When you're looking for external validation, right? I'm not looking at external validation for my child, so I'm not looking for a perfect child. I don't want your validation on my child. I want my child to validate his or herself. So when I expect him or her to be a perfect child, I want him to feel happy. Like just the other day on my Instagram, I posted 2 watch pictures of me swimming 1K on that day. One day I was at 47 minutes, one day I was at 44 minutes. I am happy about that because I'm not looking at your validation. For me, I dropped by 3 minutes. The minute we can teach our child that, we're already aiming for perfection, but in our eyes. If we're going to constantly get them to validate for external perfection, then they're going to go down this anxiety path so easily that they constantly want external validation. And one of the things that I was just reading this morning was, and through the book as well, is none of them sought external validation because they got so much of it at home. I was actually reading Michelle Obama's letter to her mother. Did you guys read that? Yes. And it was so beautifully written. She said, whenever you're tired, just come back home. If the whole world doesn't love you, You know you have people who love you tremendously at home. To me, that is perfection. When you can say, like we all go to our mom's house and say, I don't want to do anything, just take care of them. Right? That is what home is. And that's where you can be imperfect. You can be your worst.
Yes.
Worst best. Don't be worst. But like worst best, right? Because you're not looking for validation. And they will love you no matter how fat. I mean, again, in today's terms, it's very, my kids say everything is body shaming, so I don't know what to say, but, and I don't know how to describe it, because everything is not correct. But no matter what body type you are, what color of skin you have, are you tall, are you short, what are your sexual preferences, whatever it may be, they love you for who you are, and you need to love them back for who they are. So I think this perfect is what we need to kind of reframe and rewire in many ways.
Usually we all are like millennial parents, right? So where are we millennial parents going wrong? And maybe what is the loss of connection or whatever we had from the previous generation? Where are we actually doing wrong? What do you feel about it?
So I'm, that one of the reasons I wrote the book was my experience to parenting is only 15 years. I was like, why are you taking my experience alone? Because there are people who have 40 years of experience, right? So let's go with that. So of what I've read and what I've observed through the many unspoken words, through the tears, through the times that they broke down, through the times that I broke down, to the many moments that I've spent with the parents. There is no one thing that we're doing wrong, or there's no one thing that we can do better. I think there are many things, but I think that one common thread that each one of them had was they had the time. And we can say as much as we want that cost, वो लोग का ज़माना अलग था, हमारा ज़माना अलग है, all of that. But time was the key essence. And just to say that, what Michelle's mom said was, come home, we're here for you. Everybody felt at home. They all were, the roots were so strong that it was very hard for anybody else to shake that upbringing, right? And I remember my father told me this once that, if you thought of when you are at crossroads and you don't know which direction to take, and if you think of me before you take the wrong road or the wrong choice that you think in your head is wrong, I think I would have done a job well, right? And today, when I am raising my own, I know that I am not there at every party. I know that I'm not part of every telephonic conversation. She's not chatting through my phone. But I know that one is the trust that I lay in her. And I have to lay the trust in my upbringing that, listen, these are our values. And those values could be very different for different families, right? For us as a family, respect and time is a very important value. Respect for every living thing. If she disrupts that, then she knows she. Or just digital footprints, right? I keep constantly reminding her, and maybe because I'm in the space, it becomes much easier. And I keep telling her that don't leave digital footprints. Leave the location. Don't tag yourself there. It's okay to not be the in thing, right? Safety is more important. And I know that those seeds have been sown and the roots are so deep that yes, she will fall. And just because she's my daughter, it's not like she's not going to fall. Of course she's going to fall. But maybe she will fall for different things versus, and maybe she'll rise up faster after falling. And if that's the time she remembers, just be very happy. So I think just keeping that in mind that there's no one thing, but yes, making yourself available. And I think the biggest thing, because I learned with Dr. Shefali on conscious parenting, is the one thing is we chose to be parents. They didn't come from we didn't have like Kunti Putra or something like that, right? We chose this path. We chose to nurture. We chose to give birth to life, right? So how can I suddenly vanish and say this is not my responsibility or outsource the most important parts of someone's life and nurturing to somebody else, right? So I think just reminding yourself of those two things, I think, will make a very profound impact in the way of everything. but mistakes करना बहुत ही normal है.
Thank you. That was such a, let's say, such a beautiful, honest, authentic thing to say that, we all make mistakes and we must make mistakes, right? Not just for us to learn from them, but because there are people sitting in front of us, those little ones are learning from our mistakes as well, right? So that's beautiful. You asked about, what are we doing wrong as millennial parents? I think we're trying to get everything right. That's the mistake. You don't want to make any mistakes. So that's the big mistake that we're making. Also, most of us have got here where we are by doing things, right? By just hustling, as they call it, right? Just doing. And because of that, right, we've become doers. But we must remember that we're not human doings. We are human beings.
Yeah.
And one of the most important things is to be. And we are not there, We've forgotten how to be. If I'm sitting here, after a while you will pick up something because you just can't be by yourself, So that I think is the biggest challenge. It takes away your time. Even if you have time, your mind is thinking 10 different things. You cannot be in the moment. So yes, being mindful, being in the moment. Human being instead of human doing, if we can actually achieve that, I think it will be good.
And one more thing that I noticed is we as millennial parents, we sway between two extremities. Either, we have a set of parents who are like very neglectful, so neglectful that there's no connection between the child and the parent because of mobile, other devices, work, lifestyle. There's not even one meal which is being, happening as a family time, family meal time. Or else we have the other extreme where we have parents who are like very obsessed and they're always hovering around the child like a helicopter parent. So I feel this is something we are in two different extremities, and having a balance of things where you are also very careful about your child and being, a bit of helicopter parenting where you know what your child is doing, what is going wrong and all those things. But at the same time having a connection, which I feel is very important. Because nowadays, like parents, they come and say, my child is lying a lot to me. Why are they lying? Because they are scared of you. If you are there, have a connection with the child, and if you feel that you have created a space where your child can come and tell anything and everything to you without having that fear, is where I feel that you've done the right parent. Really, that's all you need. You don't need A+ in their results, or you don't need your child who can swim and do horse riding and all those things. You just need to have a child who, if by mistake he falls into some trouble, the first person he should be calling is you, or the other parent, and saying, I have done this mistake, what should I do? And he should not think, what should I do to keep it away from my parents? How can I hide these things from my parents? That's what we should do.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kids Talk Press now.